Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Let us begin with a karakia, a form of incantation that, for iwi Māori, the indigenous people of Aotearoa, New Zealand, acts to focus our attention, to settle us in place and bring us together. Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mā kina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai. E hi ake ana te atakura, hei tio, hei huka, hei hauhu, ti hei mauri ora.
No mai, haere mai.
Welcome to the work of HOOPLA, our social enterprise producing urban research and place advocacy in Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland, Aotearoa, New Zealand.
Ko Nina Patel, toku ingoa.
Ko Kathy Waghorn, toku ingoa. We are an ultra-local practice based in Te Whau, a suburb of Auckland also known as Avondale. Located on a volcanic field and positioned between two harbours, our suburb is undergoing rapid transformation with a growing population and much housing intensification and other neighbourhood demographic, social and economic changes. For HOOPLA, our work is all about place. We are interested in how people know, use and value places, and how places can be reimagined and given new purpose. Places tell stories. Places reveal how power dynamics in societies function, how history, trends, human consumption, investment and fashion change, and how people make meaningful lives and connect with each other. Our work is always grounded in specific places and the histories, people, landscapes and transactions that construct these places. So first up, let us take you for a trip around our neighbourhood and introduce you to this place. Our work takes place within the suburban catchment of Wai Te Whau, or the Whau River.
This is Wai Te Whau, the Whau River, with our homes located on each side. Kathy's there and Nina's here. The interconnected land and water of Te Whau has become the location and focus of our work.
And here we acknowledge Te Kawarawa Maki and other iwi Māori who have long travelled this river. They know and have named its parts, where to fish for patiki or flounder, where there is shelter from tāwhiri matia, the wind and storms, and where in Matariki you can see Pleiades, stars rising in winter. In the past, iwi Māori used the river as a portage, a way to move between two large and resource-rich harbours. Many other species make their homes here too. In spring, kuaka or godwits, returning on their mammoth flight from Siberia, feed on both harbours, using the Whau River as an ecological corridor. These days you are more likely to travel not by waka or canoe, but by bus, car, walk or bike along Great North Road. Once the only way to travel north of Auckland City, the shops, schools, community spaces and businesses that line Great North Road make up the Avondale town centre. Between the river and the town centre, you will find the Avondale Jockey Club. Still used for horse races, the track, infield, parking lot and indoor spaces also support a rich and diverse range of community uses. The Jockey Club is home to the West Auckland Pigeon Racing Association, to ballroom dancing lessons, bingo, rugby and touch rugby, cricket, fly fish casting and golf practice, dog training, film shoots and driving lessons, and many other activities. Importantly, the racecourse parking lot also makes room for the Avondale Sunday Market. The Avondale Sunday Market is one of the largest and longest running markets in Aotearoa, New Zealand. It was started in the 1970s by the local Labour Party, and visitor numbers range anywhere between 10,000 and 20,000 people each Sunday morning, depending on the weather and the time of year. The market sells fresh fruit and vegetables, dry foods, seafood, meat, fungi, local arts and crafts, new and second-hand goods and clothing. This is a place of super diverse social and economic exchange. So now you have visited our neighbourhood, let us tell you about our work as an ultra-local practice producing urban research for place advocacy. What do we mean when we say we are an ultra-local practice? For HOOPLA, Knowing a place comes from noticing and paying attention at scales between the micro and the macro. Places, as J.K. Gibson Graham tell us, are that which is not fully yoked into a system of meaning, not entirely subsumed to a global order. It is that aspect of every site that exists as potentiality. Places, the unmapped and unmoored, that allows for new moorings and mappings. In HOOPLA, we prioritise these very multiscalar, temporal, relational attributes of place, and we aim to influence the disposition of others in their feeling for place. Sometimes we do this through bringing people and things together in carefully calibrated situations, such as neighbourhood guided walks, kayak trips, or afternoon teas. Let us talk about an example. For 5 years, HOOPLA developed and hosted the Flotilla Faux. This was an annual but fleeting, parade-like spectacle of boats on Te Faux River, drawing attention to the presence of a river that is mostly hidden behind factories and warehouses. The flotilla was an opportunity for local people to experience the river and communicate their relationship to it, involving several clubs, NGOs, schools, businesses, politicians and river locals. We might describe the intention of the Flotilla Faux as a kind of place relationship brokering. Or, to use the philosopher Jane Bennett's words, we could see it as an effective propulsion, an assemblage that might activate connection to the river through our bodily movements in space and our mobilizations of heat and energy. Becoming ultra-local bolsters this increased sensory and intellectual receptivity to place. Other HOOPLA projects have focused on urban research, developing methods to map and communicate the fine-grained interactions of places. An example here is our work with Avondale Sunday Market, the place we visited earlier. While the market is well known and supported, its future is somewhat uncertain. Reflecting changes to the racing industry, the racecourse no longer has the number of races that it once did. The current housing shortage in Auckland and demands for other use of limited urban land are also important drivers for change. As development pressure comes on the racecourse land, there is a danger that the Avondale Sunday Market will be relocated or lost. Acting as advocates for the market, HOOPLA is researching, recording and documenting the diverse economies of the market. We want to capture and communicate the persistence of the market as a less regulated space, an economy and social space that offers a critically important alternative to mainstream consumerist practices. We have been gradually growing our research materials, including a photographic census of all 250 plus stalls, recording time-lapse video, collecting vegetable price data, counting visitors at the gate, and having conversations with the stallholders, shoppers, and the market owner. We have discovered the significant implications for livelihoods, employment, and well-being if the market were to close. For example, our analysis shows how much cheaper fresh fruit and vegetables are at the market than at supermarkets, and how critical this is for those on limited incomes. For many cultures, being able to access food people want in culturally acceptable ways with social connection is an often neglected but important aspect of food security. With a light touch in terms of set-up costs and regulation, the market offers significant opportunities for small business and supplementary income generation. Our research illustrates the importance of the Avondale Racecourse as a loose, flexible, semi-permanent space that can host such important community infrastructures. HOOPLA's methods, such as the collection and mapping of local experience and quantitative data, alongside generating platforms for collectively experiencing and communicating place, such as in the Flotilla Faux, coalesce in what we term place advocacy. Through these actions of place advocacy, we act for the social and environmental resilience of our neighbourhood. Place advocacy relies on a sensory and intellectual receptivity to multiple situated yet connected place assemblages, and the capacity these have as research tools to teach us new ways. In HOOPLA, learning from things happening on the ground, We develop methods for such receptivity as we sense the importance of thinking connection and interdependence, convening wider publics and enabling disparate forms of knowledge to gel in the assemblies, situations and transactions of place.